Okay.
My first memories of Livermore was probably in the late 40s when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. My father bringing me there, and he brought me there on several occasions. As a matter of fact, one of the times we went to Livermore, the caretaker of the property, which was left, was there. He was the only person that was living there, and it was probably 46, 47, 48 in that time period. At that time, there was only 3 buildings left. The mansion, the Saunders Mansion, the company store where the caretaker lived, and his name was Joe Platt. And the other building that was still standing was the old school. My father and his family and my grandfather and my grandmother all lived there, and they all grew up there. My father attended 12 years of school in Livermore. My father came down from Canada when he was 18. His name was John Monahan, and his main job was to supervise the Sawyer River Railroad, which is the railroad that went from Livermore down to the train station in Crawford Notch. My father always shared with me information. He had a lot of old pictures, of family pictures, pictures of the town, of the mill, of the different mills, because over the period of time, there were 3 or 4 sawmills. They had a tendency to burn down, and they would replace them. The town actually, about 2 years after the last time I was there, which was in the late 40s, Joe Platt left, and that little piece of land, which was owned privately by a family from Conway, finally destroyed the final places, which was the school, the company store, and the mansion. In the place of the mansion today, if you hike through the valley, you will see a small cabin which belongs to that family that lives in Conway. On a couple of occasions when I was a little bit older, my father knew the gentleman in Conway, and he brought all of us Monahans up to the camp and stayed. It was quite an occasion, and he would reminisce about his days in Livermore and his memories.
So a lot of these stories came from your father's.
My father, and my aunts, I remember, used to share stuff with me too. They both were born. They were younger than my father, but they were both. And my uncle shared with me stories of Livermore. So it became a kind of a family joke as time went on that we would go shopping up in Livermore, or we'd go to the movies up in Livermore, and actually by that time the town no longer existed. But my father always shared with me the memories of Livermore. Very interesting place. And I've tried to keep my family, my daughters and my grandchildren, aware of the township by bringing them up there and telling them some of the stories, showing them the pictures. And it's a very interesting town. It existed probably longer than any of the other railroad towns, according to the books I've read. It came into existence back in the middle of the 1800s, and it actually was dissolved by the courts. And I think in the 51 or 52, the state court dissolved it as a township at that time.